What's up, everyone? You want a full breakdown of every major European game that's happening on Sunday this weekend? Well, before we get into it, I want to give a special shout out to the sponsor of this video, Sleeper Picks. Don't forget, you can use code GOLDBOYS to get a deposit match of up to $500. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the Sunday breakdown. If you don't remember me, it's Sam, AKA FIFABrit from Gold Boys. And first of all, we're going to dive into the English Premier League. We've got a couple of games going on in England this weekend. First one up is Sheffield United against Brighton. Long story short, goals. I think both teams to score over 2.5 is pretty good value, but I'm going to want to see guys like Osula. I want to see Cameron Archer. I want to see Hamer starting for Sheffield, and I want to see the main guys for Brighton like João Pedro if he's fit. Maybe Danny Welbeck, some guys like Buonanotte. These kind of guys, if they're not starting, don't touch the game. We want the good guys in before we lock in goals. Now, both teams to score over 2.5 is sitting at -120 on DraftKings. I'd play it up to 130, but I'm not going to lock that in officially until the guys that I want to see are definitely starting in the game. The second game going on in England on Sunday is Luton against Manchester United. Also love goals in this game. Elijah Adebayo on a fantastic streak for Luton right now. Carlton Morris. Ross Barkley, the centre mid, has turned into a volume shooter. This is great. Problem is, the lines are kind of juiced for the overs. The books are expecting lots of goals, so I'm not sure if there's massive value there. That being said, keep an eye on Ross Barkley's shots, and whoever plays left wing for Man U, whether it's Rashford, whether it's Garnacho, whoever's playing on that left-hand side, I'm probably going to take them for shots and combine that into a nice little shots lotto. That's all we have going on in England. Let's move on to the boring league. Only joking, sometimes. We're going over to Spain, aka La Liga. Unfortunately, one of the only good teams in Spain is playing first. We have Rayo Vallecano playing Real Madrid. Now, Madrid should beat them, even though they are playing away from home, because Vallecano somehow got a 0-0 draw at Madrid's home stadium when they played earlier this season. Not really sure how that happened, because Madrid should really be beating them. That being said, I'm not entirely sure if I feel confident playing Madrid over 1.5, because they've been getting a couple of 1-0 wins recently. So you can either go Madrid over 1.5, or you can take Madrid money line and use that as a parlay piece. But Madrid are really going to be looking for a win. They want revenge after not scoring on them at home. And Barcelona just got completely lucky with a VAR penalty that they were then allowed to retake, getting them the win today. So in order to stay way ahead in the title race, Madrid need this win. Moving over to the next game, Almeria against Granada. These are the worst two teams in the Liga. This game sucks. I can't stand betting on shit teams because it's either going to be really high scoring or it's going to be a 0-0 snooze fest. Probably that one. And honestly, don't really care. That's all I have to say about that game. Next game on the slate in Spain is Mallorca against Real Sociedad. They just had a 0-0 result in the Copa del Rey. Under 2.5, which is usually an angle I like to approach for games I think are going to be boring. Under 2.5 is -280. Fuck that shit. Not touching that game. The under should never be that juiced. In fact, I think over 1.5 total goals is almost a bettable number. If you're feeling really risky, that might be a way to approach it. But again, it's probably going to still be pretty juiced. But honestly, this game, not a massive fan either. I don't know if you can tell this. I kind of have similar feelings about a lot of these teams in Spain. Next game might actually be decent though. Real Betis against Alaves. Betis are playing at home. They should get the win, but I would feel more confident about using their double chance as a parlay piece. Probably going to incorporate that into a builder. As always, for all of these picks, I'm going to lock these in officially probably sometime tomorrow when lineups come out, or after I've spent a little bit more time thinking about how these games are going to go. These are my initial reads, just to give you an impression of what this weekend is probably going to look like on Sunday. Now that we're finally done with Spain, we can move on to Germany. Germany is typically pretty good, but we only have a couple of games, and I really only care about one of them. The first game that I don't really care about is Freiburg against Frankfurt. We have a mid-table matchup going on here, and I don't really trust either of these teams for anything right now. I don't love the lines, I don't love the value, and I don't have a solid read on this game one way or another, so I'm not going to touch it personally. However, the next game is Bochum versus Bayern Munich. Bayern kind of suck right now. I don't know if you keep up with the Bundesliga, but Bayer Leverkusen are running away with it right now, and Bayern Munich look awful. Pretty sure they've lost 2 games in a row, and the games that they do win, they make really difficult. Firing Nagelsmann and replacing him with Thomas Tuchel might be one of the worst managerial decisions I've ever seen from a club ownership. It's absolutely baffling. That being said, you can get Bochum at a +1.5 spread. So all they have to do is not lose by 2 or more goals. That's almost even money on most books. I was looking at DraftKings and Rivers because those have the spreads that I can access in New York. Or you can take +2.5, so not to lose by 3 or more goals, and also use that as a parlay piece. That's probably how I'm going to do it, because I think Bochum have only lost by 3 or more goals once all season. Pretty sure it was to Leverkusen. Pretty sure it was like 4-0. Bayern Munich are not doing games like that anymore. It's very weird. Who knows how long it's going to continue? That being said, if it does continue, I will laugh at Harry Kane as an ex-Spurs player. If you don't know, I am an Arsenal fan. I am wearing the shirt. We won 5-0 today. We looked fantastic. If Kane doesn't win a trophy at Bayern Munich, who have dominated Germany for like over a decade, I will be laughing. I will be there, and it's going to be great. Moving on to Italy. Unfortunately, I have pretty similar opinions about Italy that I do about Spain. Not really an exciting league. The first game is on at like 6 o'clock in the morning. It's Lazio against Bologna, and I don't care about that game either. The value is not there. I don't trust either of these teams, even though Lazio did just get a win in the Champions League against Bayern. Very weirdly, off an Immobile pen, the only way that was ever going to happen. But yeah, gross game, not touching it. Next game, Empoli versus Fiorentina. Not a bad one. Empoli haven't lost in 4 straight games, and Fiorentina have 4 losses in a row. The Empoli double chance looks pretty good, but it's a little bit juicy for my liking. I'm not sure if I'm willing to lay like -140 on them just to not lose, even though they really should get a result at home. Not sure the value is there, but that's how I think that game's going to go. Next up, Udinese versus Cagliari. Cagliari have lost 4 games in a row, but I'm not going to pay minus odds for Udinese money line, even though they should win at home. I'm just not going to do it. The value is not there. Next one up. How do you say this team's name? Frosinone. I think they just got promoted. I've never really been sure on how to pronounce that, but they are playing against Roma. Now, even though Roma are playing away, Roma money line is a very nice number. They should win. But again, I need to see guys like Lukaku. I need to see Dybala. If these guys are not playing, I'm not touching that money line. Next one up is Monza versus AC Milan. AC Milan should win this, but the money line is juicy, and Monza have been holding some teams to low-scoring games recently. So not really sure if the value is there. You want to use it as a parlay piece, go right ahead. Not sure if I'm going to touch that game. Maybe we look at some shots if guys like Rafa Leao are starting. If not, probably not going to take shots either. That's all we have going on in Italy. Now we're going to move over to France. This is the last league we're covering today. If you're more into those obscure European leagues like Bulgarian or Cyprus, I know people that bet that. You're not going to see that from me. I live in New York. We get the main stuff over here. We don't get that nitty-gritty European league. We get the main stuff, so we're covering top leagues only. Moving on over to France. First game up in France is Strasbourg versus Lorient. Strasbourg should win at home, but again, the money line is too juicy. As you can tell, a lot of these games have no value. This is a good lesson in not betting every game. A lot of people like to bet every game. You should not do that unless you think you have an edge in every game. I know that I don't, and so I'm telling you games that I don't like, specifically so that you understand you don't have to bet every game. Next up, Monaco against Toulouse. I really like this game, actually. I think there are going to be some good goals in here. Both teams to score best odds, -137 on Caesars. I think I might lock that in tonight. If I make it official, I might post it on Twitter, but everything official will be sent in my Discord channel in Gold Boys. Don't forget to sign up if you haven't already. We've been on an absolute heater recently. Both teams to score is pretty good. Monaco haven't kept a clean sheet since December, and that game was a game that they didn't score in. So they really should be getting a goal, and Toulouse have scored in all but 1 game in 2024. Both teams to score, not even needing a third goal, because I usually do both teams to score over 2.5. Just both teams to score, -137. A little juicy, but with the hit rate on both teams, I think it makes sense. Montpellier against Metz. This is also a shit game. Probably not going to touch it. Game after that, Rennes versus Clermont. Rennes should win at home. Maybe it's Rennes, it's France, never quite sure. They should win at home. Clermont, pretty sure, bottom of the league. But again, the money line, very juicy. Consider using it as a parlay piece. A lot of these parlay pieces, throw a couple of them together. You've probably got a nice builder there. That's how I make most of my builders. That's how we do it. Next game is Reims versus Lens. This is a bit of a weird game. The matchup indicates that both teams to score should hit, but their recent games individually as teams, the past 5 games or so, doesn't really suggest that. Probably not going to touch it. And then last game of the day, Brest versus Marseille. Both teams to score is -122. That's hit 4 of the past 5 games for Brest and 4 of the past 5 games for Marseille. Pretty good hit rates, very nice odds. I might lock that in tonight as well. Again, not playing anything officially until it is sent in my Discord channel. That's the Sunday recap. It's been your boy Sam, aka FIFABrit from Gold Boys. Hope you enjoyed listening to this. As always, if you think you are struggling with gambling, don't forget to call 1-800-GAMBLER. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, run it up in the comments below. If you're not subscribed to the channel, why aren't you? Go and do that right this second, and then go and sign up at Gold Boys if you haven't already, because we are doing fantastic things right now. Anyway, best of luck with all your gambling. Have a great Sunday, and I will catch you in the next one.